Hello and welcome. It is Team Draft Super League time. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm joined by the GOAT, not the Stew, but the GOAT, greatest of all time, Jon Finkel. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing well, Randy. Thank you for the kind intro. I'm looking forward to eating some goat stew tonight.
There you go.
Should be a good time.
Now, last time we had you on TDSL, you guys got beat pretty bad, but you also kind of knew it right away, right? You said the first time we had you on camera that you thought you were going to lose. Are you feeling better about this draft? How did the draft go from your perspective?
I think our draft went fine. Better than last time, or more. It didn't feel like as if their drafts went as well as they did last time. But who knows? I mean, I'm going to look at the deck list after this round, and I'll be like, oh my God, how did I not see how great their decks are? But I think we all have solid decks. I mean, nothing superb, but in team draft, your decks are worse than they usually are. So you can't really view them through that. Unless your name is Paul Cheon, that is. But you can't really view them through that, through that same lens. So, I'm liking our chances. But, for a team with such a bad name, they're some pretty good Magic players.
Fair. All right, our first feature match will be Chris Pikula against Rich Hoaen. But before we get to that, I do want to talk with Jon a little bit about Gamers Helping Gamers. I mean, it's the name of their team, obviously, but that's because this is a scholarship fund that you've been involved with for a couple of years now. I mean, you explain to people what it actually is.
Sure. So Gamers Helping Gamers is a scholarship fund for Magic players. It was founded the first awards were given back in 2012. Sorry, my cat Harry just joined me here. Say hi, Harry. Say hi. The first scholarships were given out back in 2012, so this is going to be our sixth year. College is getting more expensive every year. It's getting more and more out of the reach of people. I think that Magic players are, as a group, tend to be bright, creative people, outside the box thinkers. They also spend a lot of time playing Magic, so maybe they don't, have the activities that there's already a million different, scholarships for. I mean, there's a scholarship for if you're left-handed. There's a scholarship. I don't want to actually mention any activities that might seem ridiculous because Look, I'm sure that there's someone out there saying, oh, there's a Magic the Gathering scholarship. What's that about? Yes, founded by Tim McKenna, and then he came to a group of us with the idea. We were involved from the beginning, including my teammate Chris. Jamie's involved now. He's going to help us with, selecting scholarships in the future. Worth Wolpert, who left Wizards, is now involved. And, of course, Eric Berger, Matt Wang.
Bob Maher, right?
Bob Maher. We have Gabe Carlton-Barnes, Kevin Bowman, who help out as well, especially with some of our tech. So it's, of course, Dan OMS. I can't forget him. I forgot. I'm playing with him in Cleveland, but I'm not playing with him now. Anyway, it's a great scholarship. If you want to give money, which we're always very happy about, go to gamershelpinggamers.org. If you want to apply, you have to wait till next year because we're about to announce the winners for this year. But you can also at gamershelpinggamers.org, but maybe bookmark it now and give yourself a calendar alert for, I don't know if it's not in January. I'm not sure exactly when the applications will go up, but it'll be probably about early next year.
Well, you just mentioned it, but we are proud to be able to host the announcement of this year's winners.
Yeah, we had a great class this year, and it's kind of funny. Started at the beginning of the alphabet, and I'm reading down these applications. I'm like, oh my God, there are these great applications. There's another great application. Then the rest of them were pretty good, but turns out we didn't need to go past the letter N.
Okay.
So we ended up with two winners.
Okay, I think we've got their pictures actually. If we can put those up.
I think we might. So let's here they are. So so on the left, or at least from my perspective on the left, is Autumn Cook. She wrote some great essays, showed a lot of intelligence. So she's mostly active as a judge, although as of all judges, she's a a pretty serious Magic player. You obviously have to really understand the rules of the game of Magic. And the judges are really the backbone of competitive play. I mean, without all these people working hard to facilitate tournaments for other people, they can never happen. And I think that she became, a level 1 judge at some ungodly early age. And she's the youngest level 2 in the world. I guess until eventually, those are titles you have to age out of. So she finally got surpassed in 2016, and she wrote a lot of essays that I think were probably pretty well tailored at me, although I don't think intentionally. Her favorite Magic mechanic is drawing cards.
I could see how that might appeal to you.
Like, all right, her least favorite Magic cards or mechanics were basically these sort of like weird corner case judge ruling things, like a thing called substance I never even knew existed.
Sure.
And I appreciate the dislike for sort of inelegant solutions. Although as I've gotten older, I've found that a lot of times you got to just go to like slap some solution on top of things and be like, well, we can't really fix the problem. But she did a really good job arguing it. And of course, when we talk about real life problems, she talked about learning to embrace variance, which is one of my favorite things when it comes to Magic in the real world. Just understanding you do the right thing. Sometimes you lose. It doesn't mean you did the wrong thing. She's going to be going to the University of Maryland. I think she said she wants to end up being either doctor or PhD or maybe both involved in research. So it looks like she'll be, making the world a better place, hopefully. So we're really proud for Autumn to be our first winner. And then our second.
Tell me about August.
Yeah, is August Peterson. He's from Minnesota, which is I think the state with the nicest people. He also, he wrote again some great essays. One of the things I like when I'm reading these things that people just talk about, they got involved in Magic when they were really young. Which of course was not a possibility for me. But he talked also about a lot of things that I really appreciate. His favorite thing in Magic is gaining small incremental edges. Now, if anyone's ever heard me complain about card design nowadays or standard, I'm saying that I hate the fact that Magic is moving from a game of being small incremental edges where you make sort of slightly better plays. This is why I love Storm in Modern, to a game of a lot of haymakers. So I really appreciate someone who's a good appreciation for this idea of just gaining small incremental edges, and over time, just by being a little better, you build this whole edifice and this framework by which you can win games. And of course, this obviously, although can be applied in other aspects of life. Well, this isn't what he wrote about. And I also appreciated, this is sort of the same vein, but his least favorite mechanic was how they changed cards like Fiend Hunter to cards like Banisher Priest. I know there's a lot of disagreement here. People are like, well, Banisher Priest, that's how it's supposed to work. If it's there, it's gone. If it's not, it's not. I love these little rules, quirks. I mean, not like rules, quirks like, oh, there's like a between step phase where you can like make your magma mine like infinitely large, with like a wall of roots or something. But,
I don't know if I'm going to let you defend that one, but being able to.
I don't love that. Yeah. But, I do like it when there's sort of like, oh, like this is the way these cards work. If I do this weird thing that didn't really come to mind to me, I can get this like awesome advantage. I can use these cards in a way that's different than maybe their main design was. So I sort of appreciated, again, this, I think he's sort of like me, where these sort of like weird, cool corner case interactions that maybe weren't meant to be there, or maybe like a little more, esoteric, that they're sort of going away a little bit from Magic. Although of course it's still the best game in the world.
I'm not going to disagree with you. And you can see he's holding a handful of the eggs cards there. So
he is. Which is, I guess I said he loves it. And he's actually going to be going to Grinnell College. So he's actually going to be a second Gamers Helping Gamers winner going there. Nathan Kalman, I think he's going to be a senior this year. I actually have in front of me here. He won it in 2014. So I guess 15 junior, 16 sophomore. So I guess, no, he's going to be a junior this year, freshman, sophomore, junior. So at least, there's at least one Magic player there. So we're also really happy to give the, a scholarship to August. So, I'm excited for both our winners this year. And anyone who wants to give money, go to gamershelpinggamers.org. And, if you're a high school student, bookmark it and, give yourself an alert to check back January, February and apply. Yeah,
I have gone to the website. I have given some money. I think it's just a spectacularly good cause, and we're happy to be able to shine a little more light on it here at TDSL. But let's get back to the gaming. Sounds like we're ready to go. Let's head down to the match. All right, here we go. We will get that name changed on the top. That is Rich Hoaen on the top of the taking on Chris Pikula. This draft was fascinating. We watched Chris live, and he wound up with a pretty good blue-black cycling deck. He started off with an Archfiend of Ifnir, which you see in his hand there. And, he got second pick Angler Drake. Looked like a pretty solid draft, but it turns out Rich Hoaen, who was feeding Chris, also kind of wound up, maybe he's blue-black-ish cycling, open to Drakehaven in Pack 2. And yeah, he was blue-black cycling, feeding blue-black cycling. That should be edge Rich Hoaen, but I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, the Drakehaven would explain Rich's hand, which, would normally look like he picked up a pile of cards off the ground. And let's see what you could do with them. I mean, unfortunately, Chris is, I guess he could just go right up to his Archfiend and win. But it'd be nice if he picked up an island at some point.
Yeah, he needs blue mana and he needs raw mana. But it's not like Rich is doing much to him.
No, but, you just cycle into his good cards. And
I wonder how many floodwaters these guys have between them. It must be like 4 or 5.
Yeah, and that stinging shot is going to unfortunately be more useful than it, maybe it normally would be. And of course, now, this is a really big turn. I mean, Chris not having any blue mana is going to be a huge problem here. I mean, because Rich basically had a sort of non-functional hand. He's just going to cycle. It has to cycle through all his cards, and Chris is left with 2 1-power creatures in play. It's not really a great place for him to be.
Yeah, stinging shot got cycled.
Yeah, and he's going to cycle the Dissenter's Deliverance, obviously, as well.
Yeah, Chris not exactly punishing Rich for a non-functional open.
No, and now this Ruthless Sniper is going to, I guess I didn't see it. He gave initiate, obviously, to play that instead.
Yeah, just cycled into it. I think it was Strauss. 4th mana for Chris, but it's still a swamp. Initiate block.
Right.
Dune Beetle to soak up the point.
I don't think I cashed in my stamina here.
That was going to be my question.
I kind of want to save that for the Archfiend, I think. I don't think you're really going to get that much of a beatdown. The guy has Embalm too. So I think that was a real questionable play by Chris.
I think Chris just needs to sort of keep the board clean until he can draw into his mana, though, right? Like, if he's casting Archfiend, doesn't that mean his draw worked out?
Well, I mean, he just needs one more land, though. Like, if he has the supernatural stamina, I mean, it's like he has the Archfiend and he has Archfiend backup. Imagine right now what this would look like if he had the right now, if he had just instead cast Hieroglyphic Illumination, wait till it's 6 land Archfiend.
Fair enough.
Now literally Rich is just going to go Ruthless Sniper, cycle, trigger, stinging shot, and his Archfiend's going to be dead. Did he block? No. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that choice by Chris, honestly, there's a really good chance it's just going to cost him the game. Yeah.
Well, here's the cycle. Sniper is going to finish off the Archfiend.
Yeah.
Rich's 1-power beatdown got Rich all the way down to 16, and now Rich is...
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the point of clearing the board, especially if the guys got Embalm? So I don't really know where Chris is going here.
Draws a couple extra cards.
Yeah.
Now he's got plenty of violence. Now he's got too much mana.
Yeah. But Rich is just like a monster favorite here. Chris is going to, whatever, he's going to Illusory Wrappings, that flyer, I guess. He's going to have to save his Gale Strike probably for the Embalm token. It's probably what he wants to do. I guess if he plays the River Serpent, he just Illusory Wrappings that guy instead, but it's... Well, no, it's not. Yeah. All right. That's at least pretty good for Chris, because now he can probably get value off his Gale Strike.
Sure.
Yeah, this is obviously what he's supposed to be doing here. So, that Cryptic Serpent was a really good draw for him, although that Pitiless Vizier and Ruthless Sniper are going to make short work of it in combination.
Based on the board, though, Chris seems like he's at least stabilized.
No. Chris is way behind.
You guess because you can see Rich's hand.
But even I guess if he is like nothing, yeah, sure. I guess I can see his hand. I can't forget about that. But I mean, it's Rich just obviously has so much value. Has all these cards. He's every color mana.
Floodwaters help.
It's actually kind of good here. I mean, you get to bounce the Initiate and maybe the Vizier.
Yeah.
And get it for a bit of a beatdown. I mean, he's gonna chump, or maybe I don't know if he chumps this turn or later, but.
Serpent comes over. We're just going to go ahead and take the 6.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just imagine this game if he stayed that supernatural stamina, it's like Rich almost can't win.
Now we see one of the reasons Rich is green, Bounty of the Luxa.
Yeah, although that's I don't know, he can't really be splashing green, right? I mean, because Bounty is it's a strong card, but it's not a card you splash.
I believe it was one of the first green cards he had, and then.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying that it's that's the card that you want to be highly likely to cast it with 4 mana on turn 4, just because it loses a lot of value.
All right, Rich does chump this time.
Yeah, I mean this is just
10 mana.
A blowout right now.
What do you think's going through Chris's mind as he sees Ruthless Sniper, Pitiless Vizier from the guy who was feeding him when he's playing Blue-Black Cycling? That's got to sting a little, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice
draw.
draw.
Did something wrong in the draft?
I mean, not necessarily. So that was actually a really good draw there. So probably what's going to happen here, you get blocked. There's going to be some like cycling action. He's going to Gale Strike his own Cryptic Servant, and then probably drop a creature, but he's going to get an Essence Scattered. Although, let's see. So he's sort of telegraphing here that he has an Essence Scatter, but I mean, Chris has to sort of cast all his creatures, so
yeah,
it's not going to really that much.
Has to save the Serpent.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's telegraphing Essence Scatter?
Because he had a second trigger off his Ruthless Sniper. He gets to give -1 to one of Chris's creatures.
He chose.
And I think Chris just sort of figured that out as he started to tap his mana.
Does elect for the Drake instead of the Serpent.
Yeah, I don't think I like this choice though.
You go.
He has 5 cards in his graveyard, so he actually have cast both the extra creatures. I would have led with the Sentinels and seeing what he would have done. Assuming he tapped properly, I did, so he could have 2 blue left. I don't remember that. Because then at least he ends up with something in play. I also think that the Drake is probably a better creature for him to have out than the Serpent. And so by casting the Drake first also gives Rich the choice. Rich knows he has the Serpent, so he can choose whether to counter the Drake or to wait for the Serpent. Because right now they have like a ground board stall, and Rich is a Bounty of the Luxa. So, I mean, Chris is in just really bad shape here.
Rich does draw another land.
Yeah, but I mean, All right, now that's a really good draw for Chris. That's just like the best draw he could have right here.
Splendid Agony. Down goes Pitiless Vizier. None of that cycling for indestructibility stuff.
Yeah, so Chris is sort of out drawing Rich, so it might end up being enough. But Rich, he's just going to get these cards. He can chump and dump up the board. I mean, I think that even with all this, he's still got to be a pretty decent favorite.
Speaking of cards, been holding the River Serpent because he values the cycling. Now he's going to play it because he's got Hieroglyphic Illumination in case he needs to trigger his snipers.
Yeah.
Draws a sniper of his own, but with no cycling.
Yeah, but
putting it on the table, which makes sense.
it's like so hard. Chris didn't even attack here. You know, it's like, again, imagine if he played out that serpent, gotten that counter, and then played the flyer on the next turn. I mean, he'd probably have this game won.
Sure.
You know, so I mean, I think when we look back, I mean, Chris is really sick today. He like almost couldn't play. He's like lying in bed and like dragged himself out like a zombie to get over to the Magic Online so he could play.
Good point. Yeah, he does appear to have brought some sort of plague home from Grand Prix Las Vegas.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely impacting his play.
You see, Rich went mouth and feed all at the same time, found his Drake Haven finally, but Rich is actually down to 8 cards in his library.
Oh, wow. I did not notice that. I mean, that might be Chris's backdoor out.
Can Chris actually deck him?
I mean, if he has no cards, it seems like he probably can.
Yeah, you mentioned Chris being sick. He's not going to be doing commentary today. He said he was too sick. He didn't want to just be coughing a bunch on camera. So
yeah. So
Rich cycling elimination. Like, okay, he gets a 2/2 flyer, but he also draws a card.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will be able to get there. With the
sniper, clearing a path in the air, but 6 cards. Is this a Doom Dissenter jump? You there?
Yeah. I could. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to block with the Doom Dissenter here. I would guess.
We have an update from the back table, by the way. Mike Fraun has defeated James 2-0, in fact.
And that's brutal. Yeah, he's got to block with the Doom Dissenter here. I mean, you know, he didn't. Whew. That's wow. That's going to work out to be a really good block.
Yeah, decides to trade on the ground.
Yeah.
Flashes back the initiate. Sorry, embalms.
Yeah.
5 cards in Rich's library. Make that 4.
Oh, man.
Lay claim.
Yeah, lay claim's going to be a pretty big beating right here, right? I mean, he just basically is going to lay claim the flyer and then kill him with flyers.
That looks like the plan from my seat. Oh, he went to combat without doing it. He's just going to attack in?
I don't know what's in Rich's deck. This seems like it's leaving him, you know, outs to get decked.
Okay. He wants to prepare to fight here. Win the fight that way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you, though. Like, he might need another 3/2 flyer on his side.
Yeah. All right, now that's actually pretty nice for Chris, just because it's going to come down to, you know, whether he can get raced. Now, does Rich have to draw from the bounty? I think he does, right? That's why he drew 2 cards last time. Yeah, so next turn he's going to go down to 1 card.
All right,
also, Chris just cycled on his turn. That was a pretty, I think, serious misplay because I think he wants to target the Drake. Like, I know that he's thinking, oh, I get to make my Sentinels bigger than the Hippo. But, you know, he's got the Doom Dissenter, the Doom Beetle. That doesn't really matter. And now if he draws something he wants to play at sorcery speed, he doesn't have that opportunity.
Well, how about Final Reward? Is that a good card to
let's go ahead and draw it. He doesn't want to cast it now, though. I mean, there's just no reason to cast it. He's got a 1/1 Drake and an irrelevant Hippo. No, don't cast it, Chris.
Well, Prepare to Fight is on the stack. I think he's trying to fizzle the fight half.
Yeah, but what's the point? Like, the Ruthless Sniper isn't doing anything. Like, you might just need to, like, get rid of, like, 1 flyer.
Well, no mouths are fighting. Rich has what? An attack for 1 in the air?
Yeah.
Rich has 3 cards in his library.
Yeah.
To Chris's 12, for the record.
Yeah, that's like the sort of thing you do. Like, oh, I get the physical removal spell. I get the 2-for-1. Same my guy. Like, it's sort of like standard. Sorry, I'm getting my camera. That's sort of standard, like, good Magic play, but it's not what you want to be doing right here. You know, it's just, you know, you just want to live for a couple more turns. And I'm adjusting this thing actually the wrong way. Sorry about that. All right. So, I mean, luckily, so let's see, Rich. Yeah, Rich isn't just a really bad place right here. I don't know, though. Is there like some sort of, again, why is Chris attacking here? Why is he attacking?
Has he noticed that Rich is on 3 cards?
This is just pointless.
All right, Rich down to 1 card, Bounty to Luxa.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris is going to win anyway, but I don't think either player should be really happy with how they played the game. You know, Rich not casting that late claim on the flyer is just like a game-losing mistake that's really out of character for Rich.
Yeah.
Most of you think like his last card is, you know, commit to memory or something that's going to let him time twister.
That would be insane. Commit to memory is exactly what Rich needs his last card to be. He must know what his last card is.
Oh, is he discarding? Is he discarding a hand size here to get some Drake Haven triggers?
Oh, that's clever. That's exactly what he's doing. How clever.
Right, but he's still only going to get. Sorry, my cat's creating mischief. You're still only going to get another attack step, so it shouldn't be enough. But again, this is where that final reward play could like really potentially be, you know, cost Chris.
I have not seen that. He discarded the hand size. He got 4 Ruthless Sniper triggers and 2 Drakes by discarding the hand size.
All right, well, let's see. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage on the board. Chris is at 9. He has to draw a way to get through his ground blockers and also do more damage. Let's see.
Draws the last card of his library.
Forest. I don't think he's got like a.
It's another Bounty to Luxa.
Another Bounty to Luxa, yeah. So this, yeah, Chris is gonna, pull this one out.
What a crazy win!
What a game! This was a game. Meanwhile, my cat is literally taking piles of coins and throwing them onto the ground because I think maybe he's enraged at this game, or he's just a cat, so he likes to do those things.
He wants more screen time. Unbelievable. Yeah, another discard to hand size gets him another Drake, but there's no way for Rich to get cards back in his library.
No,
he's 1 turn short.
No, I think he's just gonna win.
He's literally 1 turn short. Oh, okay,
Floodwater's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that'll put him back.
Chris had a lot of Floodwaters in his deck, and I got to cut one. It turns out with the Drake Haven, it's probably not correct. I wonder, is Chris not casting because he's like, what if there's some masterpiece or I don't know. Yeah, I think he just cast it here. I mean, I don't think that could possibly have anyway, but you know.
That late claim really did cost Rich this game, huh?
Yeah.
1 attack step short, and if he'd had a 3/2 flyer for the last 3.
Yeah, he would have won it easily if he cast that late claim.
Chris Pikula.
Yes.
Dex.
Justice.
GHG on the board. Down a match, but up a game here. And now we go to sideboarding. See anything that might be relevant here?
Let me see. Chris, yeah, I like to take out the Doom Dissenter. You know, it's sort of hard to see on the screen over here, but I do have a version of Chris's deck that I can take a look at. It's a little bit larger. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot in Chris's sideboard that I think is relevant. Yeah, he's probably did he bring in the extra Floodwaters for like a Doom Dissenter? Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, 3rd Floodwaters was the first. He brought that in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah. I think that's really the only thing for him to do. He has like a split card with black in it. I'm not sure what that is, but I suspect it's not something you can really catch. Oh no, that's
Cut Ribbons.
Cut Ribbons. You know, it's probably not.
Marshall and Ben were wondering if he might consider splashing that.
Yeah, I mean, if you kinda, but just not worth it. I don't think. Like I'd almost feel like I'd rather like splash the back gap off 2 swamps, in like a red deck than the other way around.
Sure.
Is Rich just going to go up to like 50 cards? Because then he can't lose. He's signing out his bounties?
I think so.
Oh my God, what's he doing? Is he going to like a... And he's going to get this all done in a minute and 8 seconds more.
He took out the green completely.
Yeah, he's
just a blue-black cycling deck. He's like, all right, straight up, blue-black versus blue-black.
I mean, Rich's deck is like... It's like a 13-card deck, and then like a bunch of cycling. He's playing like off-card cyclers.
11 creatures, 12 other spells. Yeah, including some off-color cyclers.
I mean, Chris's deck is the sort of deck that you can get away with this against.
Well, I mean, he knows what he's up against now.
Yeah, I mean, he might be able to pull it off. I think. Look, I mean, obviously Chris has won game 1, so he should be a favorite. Rich's deck is a little trixier. He doesn't have any cards as good as the Arc Fiend of Vifner.
Sure.
So Chris if Chris draws that, he also draws the Supernatural Stamina, and he just saves it. It makes it really hard for Rich to win to even, I think, a greater extent than Drakehaven. But obviously he can kill the Arc Fiend, whereas the Drakehaven is basically unkillable.
Yeah, if Drakehaven hadn't been in the bottom, 8 cards or whatever, the game would have gone differently. Well, Critch has his Archfiend again. A 2-land draw, both colors.
I mean, this is the biggest beating for Rich. He brings in the 1-drop black guy, and he just had a swamp on his opening hand. There it is. Although
turn 2 Dread Wanderer.
Yeah, still gonna be pretty good. So that was a nice land draw there for Chris. So what's probably gonna happen is Rich is gonna play his Minotaur, and Chris is gonna probably just Splendid Agony it down. It's my guess. There's just no playing creatures. I don't think is great here. I mean, you have the Sentinels. I guess it blocks the Dread Wanderer, but I think that's sort of just unnecessarily putting yourself in a position where you get in real trouble by being on the back foot. Yeah, so I like that play by Chris. I think it's solid.
Dread Wanderer continues to get a couple of beats in. See the angle.
Chris is sort of in an advantage situation here. He's just got a lot of powerful cards in his hand. He's gonna I like the Sentinels first. You got the stamina. Actually, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about more, no, I like the Sentinels because it's going to block. You're on the back foot. You got the stamina. In this situation here, where I'd be much more inclined to stamina to save my guy. Like, I feel like he's got a really good hand. He's got things to do with all of his mana.
Trial of Ambition.
I just don't want to really fall behind on the board as much. So I like it. It's also when you hit 6 mana, you're going to cast that Angler Drake. So you really, it's not a game where the Arc Fiend is at the top of your curve and you guys aren't doing anything and you can just, wait for the stamina. So I agree with this play here.
It's funny. There's not a lot of sort of combat tricks that actually save your creature from a Diabolic Edict style effect, but
no,
that one works.
So this is a bit unfortunate here for Chris, I think, in that he's going to cast that Arc Fiend. He's going to get Essence Scatter and he's going to get Unburdened, and Rich drew the hieroglyphics. So it's just this Unburdened is going to be it.
I was going to say, how can it be that unfortunate if he drew the 5th land for Archfiend? But
yeah, he really wanted to not draw his 5th land there. He wanted to draw his 4th land. And he wanted to stay at 4 lands so he could play a worse creature.
Funny. Oh, Rich does not go for the Unburdened. He plays the Sniper.
I can see that. The Unburdened, the even issue makes that Unburdened a somewhat weaker card here.
All right, Chris draws land 6, goes for the Angler Drake. Now Unburdened can clear his hand.
Yeah, but this is the sort of thing that's actually, I think, going to work out worse for Rich, just because he's going to cast the Unburdened, and Chris could discard the even issue, which he's then going to embalm right back. and it's going to leave Rich on the back foot. He's going to cast out the sniper, but then he can't even cycle and trigger. So, he's going to have to play his guy, say go. Chris is just going to fly over for 4 and cast his guy. Now, Rich does get to play his own flyer out, and he can use the Forsake to trade it with the 4/4. And then he's going to get to bomb it back. So we'll eventually trade with both of Chris's guys. But
Chris definitely on the front foot here, though.
Yeah.
2/1 attacks into Sentinels.
This is, Chris is so supposed to block. Well, yeah, I mean, if he's representing Ruthless Sniper, well, I guess not. I guess because he hasn't had the initiate out yet, so that's pretty reasonable.
Smash, says Chris Pikula.
Yeah.
All right. Drake is going to trade for initiate plus the cycle.
Yeah.
You think Sentinels should have blocked last turn to get the cycler out of Rich's hand?
Well, he didn't. No, well, that was unfair of me because I knew that he had the Ava Initiate in his hand, which Chris
didn't know about it. Fair.
If he has the Ava Initiate in play, then it's very different.
That makes sense.
But yeah.
7 apiece. Chris has more power, though.
But he's getting so much value out of the cyclers with the Ruthless Sniper here.
Chris does draw a spell, and it's a good one.
That's, yeah. And now,
that was huge.
Yeah.
Now he drops Rich to 2. Basically says check.
All right. Yeah. I mean, of course, if he draws like any cycler, any flyer here, Rich is in a really good position. But if he just draws a swamp, he's in trouble.
Once a cycler. Miasma.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. What a draw for Rich.
That was insane.
Wow.
He gets to discard a card. He gets to finish off the Aven Initiate. Chris no longer has Lethal Flyer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was
into Miasmic Mummy. That was
quality draw for Rich. It's funny. If he attacks with anybody, then all those Floodwaters Chris has is potential lethal.
Well, is he going to not attack? I mean, Chris is at 7.
Yeah.
He needs any of the 3 Floodwaters. You're right.
Yeah.
Lane number 9.
That's get a little bit awkward because he's going to, now of course Rich won't attack, so it's, Oh my God! Wow. Now Rich is just drawing, just all the.
Gasoline?
He couldn't build that better. I mean, oh my God! I mean, this is just like a game over card here.
Picks up the trial too.
Yeah.
A flyer and a trial. Yeah, dead on the spot. Chris is at 6. That's actually lethal.
Yeah.
3 in the air plus the 1 plus the 2. On to game 3.
The card is just game over.
Unbelievable. What a sequence of rips from Rich Hoaen.
Yeah.
Chris had him. Chris passed. Rich had no answer to a lethal flyer. He cycled, and he had to come up with another way to discard a card. Came up with Miasmic Mummy. Second trigger finishes off the Aven Initiate. Cartouche on the following turn. Jeez.
Yeah, it's
funny. Chris Drew did draw a bunch of land, but he actually needed the first 2 or 3.
Yeah.
He draw land on like 6 out of 9 draw steps, something like that. But I don't know if that's a flood.
Yeah.
The first 3 were required just to curve out.
And I do like how all the people played all of their. I got both people played that game. I thought the first game was pretty sloppy, but that game seemed, I thought, much better played.
That makes sense. You have a sense of who you think is advantaged here in game 3 at this point? I mean, sorry, but
I don't know, man. Chris has a better deck, but I think Rich's deck is a little better in the matchup.
Rich has gone back to the green. He lost with the green in his deck. Won game 2 without it, but now it's coming back in. Is that a play thing? Do you know more about Chris's deck now?
Maybe. I mean, look, I certainly respect. I feel like if you win a deck with the game, then you slide into a different deck. and then you lose the deck of the game, and then you slide to a different deck and you win. It takes a certain type of player to go back to the losing configuration, and usually that's a sign of a good player. You know what I mean? Like, he's clearly thought about this, right? And I'm not gonna say that I fully understand what he's doing here, but he knows his deck better than I do.
You respect
Rich is really good at these things. So,
by the way, Chris is siding in red. Magma Spray, Wandering Javelineer, presumably Cut to Ribbons.
He doesn't. It's not Wandering Javelineer, right? It's the Minotaur.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Merciless Javelin. Right.
Man, I'm not sure about the 7/6/3 mana. This is. I think that Chris is janking up his mana a little too much to justify the power level of these cards. I mean, of course, in practice, he's either going to draw the right mana or he's not, and he's going to look like he's going to look like a genius when that red card wins in the game. He's like an idiot when he's stuck and can't cast his spells. And it won't necessarily be that meaningful, based on what happens.
It is true that the cycling deck is going to get the opportunity to see more of his deck, right? I mean, those 3 mountains play like a little more when you're digging into your deck so far. Well,
sure, but he also only has 6 swamps now in his deck and 7 islands. Now, this opening hand, it's slow, but at least he has his 2 main cards of mana. Although he does have 2 uncastable.
2 red cards. It's a 4-drop and a 6-drop and 2 uncastables.
So that's, that's not great.
Oh, Sentinels for turn 3.
Yeah, Sentinels sort of made his draw a fair bit better, although obviously this, the mouth is not great.
Right on schedule.
Yeah. What are you doing, Chris? Thank God. This is maybe the greatest bluff of all time. Now Rich is going to drop this bounty, which, it's really good, I think, with the way his hand's going to play out, because he's going to get to cast that lake claim like way ahead of curve.
Chris finds a mountain.
Yeah.
Angler Drake going to cancel out the lake claim at some point.
Again, why did he leave it so he can't cycle that blue card, which I think he probably maybe wants to cycle. There's a good chance he might really need to cast Angler Drake next turn. This is just...
Yeah, he should have an island up instead.
Whatever. This is probably just the plague impacting him.
Yeah, he was really apologetic about not being able to do commentary and being that sick, but it sounded like he was, in bed, sweating and shaking this morning.
Yeah. Because it's like if Rich, I mean, the Angler Drake is so good right now. Rich has a 3/3 token creature in play. I mean,
yeah, and a lake claim that we know about.
I would definitely be cycling that Hieroglyphic Illumination here. If I had, the blue untapped.
Pitiless Visitor.
So,
how do you play this?
What he does here. I mean, this is. I might just attack with the. Let's see. Let's look through. It looks like Chris already knows what he wants to do. So, I guess he's gonna do that. Well, I guess does he just hit them both, and then Magma Spray? Is that his plan? I mean, this is gonna. Yeah, I mean, this is. Yeah, he has a Magma Spray right now. He can, wait to just discard. So I mean, this is going to play out probably pretty well. I mean, he still should have cycled that Hieroglyphic Illumination, but this is. I mean, this is knocking Rich down to 2 here.
Wow. Yeah, Rich at 2. Can't block.
But again, I mean, all he did by not even if he was planning on doing this regardless, he still should have cycled the elimination because then he could choose to do. I don't like this Magma Spray play here at all. You know, the guy's saying it 2 toughness. He can just do it at the end of his turn. There's no reason to let him know what's going on. He can respond to anything that gets done. You know,
Chris has still maneuvered this game pretty well. For a draw that looked pretty non-functional at the beginning, I'm going to give the guy credit for having Rich at 2, having 3 potentially lethal attackers in play, and an Angler Drake in his hand.
Yeah.
By the way, he needs exactly Island for the Angler Drake. That may be one reason why he wasn't necessarily cycling aggressively to get to 6.
No, but that's even more of a reason. You know, I mean, you have 2 shots to draw an Island. You only have 6 of them in your deck.
Well, here's Prepare to Fight.
Yeah.
So Shimmer Scale Drake is going to deal 4 with Lifelink.
Yeah. So.
And Fight Down.
Yeah, and this right here. I mean that right there. If Chris had a Magma Spray, he could kill that guy. I mean, his guy would still die, but then he would just be left with that other crappy creature that he had.
What a
the 2/2 instead. You would have the 2/2 instead if Chris had a Magma Spray. So really, like that Magma Spray there probably just cost Chris the game because he could attack for 5 into a 2/2 ground creature. You know. And now he's just going to get valued out by Rich, who's so far ahead of him. So I mean, this is, you know, this is just brutal.
Man, Prepare to Fight was absolutely absurd there.
Yeah.
Big lifelinking attack, and the lifelink obviously triggers off the fight half as well.
Yeah, that was
13 apiece.
That was huge.
But Rich still feels like he needs to play defense.
I mean,
and here's Angler Drake.
Sure, Rich did defense. I mean, no, it's not bad, but he just could get his Ava Initiate stinking shot in. He's going to get his Angler Drake lay claimed, and he's going to be, you know, I mean, Chris basically can't win this game. And I think if he played differently earlier on, he would certainly have a much better chance. I'm not sure if he would have won, but I mean, there's at least one turn he could have attacked for 5 that he didn't get to, and then another turn. I think Chris wins this game if he doesn't. Man, if he doesn't play with that Magnus right there. Yeah, I don't really see a path to victory. Man, look at Rich's hand. It's just like all like random cycling cards.
So let's get to Essence Scatter this flyer.
Yeah.
So how did your draft go? Tell us about your draft.
My deck went solid. I mean, I ended up in like a green-white deck, splashing a Essence Scatter. Not Essence Scatter with the black final reward.
Oh. Okay.
I was thinking about this Essence Scatter here. Chris is gonna feel like, oh, maybe I can pull it out with this guy. I like this attack, by the way. Although the black is sort of going to happen. You know, it's like a solid deck, but nothing spectacular. It's probably the best deck on our team, but I think all of our decks are sort of like pretty close to each other around that sort of like middle of the pack range.
Okay.
But I think I have a much better matchup against Rich, for example, than Chris does, just because I have a pretty aggressive deck with a good curve.
Oh, Floodwaters into Unburden?
Yeah.
Pick up both your creatures? Oh, then discard them.
Yeah.
Man, Chris was so close, and Rich Hoaen has just shown him both sides of his hand.
Yeah.
Wow, what a beat.
I mean, you know, the bounty just gives too much value over time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Angler Drake that Chris second picked, too. That Angler Drake was in Rich's opening pack, and I actually thought Rich might be cut hooking him. Like he passed the Angler Drake, had to be pretty sure it was blue. So when the opportunity came along, I think he was killing some late blue cards, opened that Drake Haven. He's like, oh, this is going to be great.
Oh, there it is. All right. Well, that's okay. We'll 0-2 round one. I guess we'll do some winning in the next rounds.
Indeed. There is the concession. So Goat Stew up 2-0 over Gamers Helping Gamers.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to let John play. I believe Mike Ron will be your opponent.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Looking for a challenge? Magic Online offers monthly limited and constructed events which lead to the yearly Magic Online Championship. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and start earning the points you need to enter. Check out Amonkhet Booster Draft Leagues on Magic Online. Draft anytime, play anytime. Available now. For more info, visit mtgo.com.
Represent your country at the World Magic Cup at national events. This September, you can compete against your country's best players for the title of national champion. You need Planeswalker points to participate, so keep playing in local events to qualify. Learn about qualifying for nationals at magic.wizards.com/national.